September 2024. Amazon announces its plan to cut back on layers of middle management. More than 13,000 managers came at risk of losing their jobs. By March end, the actual number of layoffs far exceeded that estimate. Who were the targets? Project managers, team leads, communication staff, and middle managers, who were overseeing fewer than 8 direct reports. Some managers were even asked to move a level down to individual contributor roles. Amazon's leaked internal documentation stated to put a pause on hiring any new managers because recently they had been hiring more managers than entry-level employees. Amazon's structure had become diamond-shaped. All of this was happening in direct response to Amazon CEO Andy Jassy's September note. Increase the ratio of individual contributors to managers by at least 15%. But this wasn't an isolated Amazon incident. In the last 1 year, Microsoft has laid off 26,135 positions. Intel, more than 24,000, and Google has laid off 35% of their small team managers and 10% of their overall management layer. Most of them, you guessed it right, middle management. Back in India, the IT services behemoth TCS is gradually culling over 12,000 roles, mainly targeting mid-level managers with 10+ years of experience and senior management unable to adapt to AI. Their logic is simple. We need 225 billable days a year. It does not matter if you're an unassigned junior resource or a manager that's stuck at the same level. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg perfectly captured this sentiment when he criticized the practice of hiring managers, managing managers, managing managers, managing the people who actually do the work, hinting that middle managers were bloating the corporate structures without adding any clear value. Back at Amazon, Andy created a bureaucracy mailbox for employees to submit examples of excessive processes that could be limited. He received over 500 emails and acted on 150. So what exactly is happening to our corporate structure? Gartner predicts that by 2026, 1 in 5 companies will use AI to completely eliminate more than half of their current middle management. And no, this is not just a phase. It is a seismic shift to our modern business landscape. And in the last 5 years, middle managers have gone from being expected to manage 3 to 6 employees today, which is a 100% increase. But Amazon believes that number should actually be 8. And if you can't step up, then well, it's being called the Great Flattening. Companies are strategically eliminating the redundant layers from the pyramid, making it flatter and less hierarchical. Lean, mean, and agile is the new framework. It's being fueled by the recent ease in automations, a relentless push for efficiency, and the need for cost cutting. And it is being felt across all domains. And in all of this, the jobs that were thought to be the safest are suddenly on the chopping block. AI is dropping a massive nuke on the corporate businesses. Those who have just entered or will be entering have time to prepare for the blast. The leaders have strategic advantages and can often outrun the blast, even if they're the CEO of Astronomer. But what about the middle managers? My name is Loveena Kamath, and here's the full disclosure. We're very excited to be a part of the 01 Media Network. Together, we will bring you well-researched videos on careers, different industries, and the evolving job market. And if you like the videos we make for you, please show us your support by hitting the subscribe button. If you really think about it, any work requires only 2 components: a thought unit, the idea or strategy, and an execution unit, the actual doing of the work. If you're a solo business, both of the units are you. But if you're a company of multiple people, there will be 2 personas, the thinkers at the top and the doers at the bottom. It's not binary, and thinkers do and doers think in various proportions in the spectrum. Middle managers sort of hang in the, as the name suggests, middle. And they are hated by both the sides, especially now. So what did middle managers do till now that ensured corporates had a welcome spot for them? Imagine you are the CEO of a company with 1,000 employees. You can't personally talk to all 1,000 people every day about what they need to do and how to go about doing it, right? And the 1,000 employees cannot all come to you with every little problem or question. That is where middle managers come in. They're like the bridge between the top and the bottom. Think of a middle manager as a translator. They exist because without them, companies would become chaos. Traditionally, middle managers spend their time doing three main things. First, they translate strategy. The CEO says we need to increase sales by 20% this year. The middle manager figures out what that means for their specific team and tells them, okay, we need to make 50 more sales calls per week. When workers have problems, the middle manager decides if it's something they can handle or if it needs to go up to the CEO. Secondly, they keep everyone on track. They make sure people show up to work and do their jobs properly. They also deal with day-to-day problems like choosing what to get for the office, a copier or chairs. And number three, checking that the work being done meets the company's standards. And lastly, taking care of the overall professional well-being of their team, which would include training new employees and helping existing ones get better, being their mentor, their guide and therapist, handling performance reviews and deciding on promotions and bonuses, etc. So why can't we just skip this layer altogether? Especially with AI automating a lot of the comms and monitoring. Have 1 or 2 thinkers at the top and 98 doers at the bottom. But that doesn't work because one person can only manage about 5 to 10 people directly. A concept in management known as span of control. Any more and the system breaks. You need people in the middle to relegate comms with the care and attention that the matter deserves. At the same time, the CEO cannot be bothered with the coffee machine breaking down. But they do need to know that the biggest client is thinking of leaving. Middle managers filter the info both ways. Plus, a middle manager is more equipped with the micro information. A simple brief from the CEO like, we will expand to 10 new cities this year is broken down by the manager into, I need to find locations, hire staff, ensure standards and compliances at every branch. Then the next level of middle manager, namely branch manager, would ensure the well-being of his team. He will monitor deliverables and make sure that the clients and employees are kept happy. Without these middle layers, the CEO will have to do everything themselves and it is just impractical. Think of a sandwich where the important ingredients are inside, but the outer layer holds the entire thing together. Those are your middle managers. Or like a salad, which you eat for the greens and protein, but the dressing is what makes it palatable. By the way, I've been cooking and that's why the food analogies. But here's the thing about those middle layers. They involve a ton of boring, redundant, administrative work, which is also the very thing AI is now crushing. As a manager, you're expected to spend less time on forwarding emails and more time on strategy and mentorship. But how do you keep up with that impossible standard of efficiency? Simple. You stop wasting time writing and rewriting your own communication. And that is where you use Quillbot, the AI writing tool that helps you write clearly, confidently, and effortlessly right inside the apps you use every single day. Think about what a manager does all day: drafting client emails, summarizing team reports, or even refining a difficult conversation. Let's say you get an email from a team member and it's a bit too casual or too rushed. You have to forward it to a client, but you need to instantly upgrade the tone. All you do is highlight the text, click the Quillbot Chrome extension and use the paraphraser. Change the mode to formal and in one click that casual draft is instantly polished, professional and clear. No more wasting time finding the right word or fixing embarrassing grammar mistakes thanks to their world-class grammar checker. Now let's talk about the biggest challenge facing every professional in 2025, which is AI-generated content. We've all used ChatGPT to draft a report or an update, but that generic, robotic language screams AI. It lacks the human touch that we expect from people. And this is where Quillbot's AI Humanizer comes in. It takes that generic, formulaic text and instantly transforms it into authentic, natural-sounding language, the kind that builds trust and connection with your team. It does not just clean up mistakes, but it ensures your voice is always the one leading the conversation. With Quillbot's Chrome extension eliminating the low-value writing tasks that are dragging managers down, it frees you up to focus on the high-value human interaction that keeps you indispensable. It's about making professional writing easy, confident, and effortless. So download the Quillbot Chrome extension for free today and get started writing better and faster. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment below. Now back to the video. Now, companies that try to get rid of all their middle managers often find out the hard way that someone still needs to do all that boring coordination work. Despite this, middle managers often get a bad reputation. People sometimes think they're useless because they don't make the big decision. But that's the CEO's job, and they don't do the real work, which is their team's job. They often appear to just have meetings and send emails all day. But those meetings and those emails are actually them doing their job, coordinating between different parts of the company, solving problems before they get bigger, and ensuring that everyone knows what they're supposed to be doing. And look at it from the company's point of view. The mere existence of the role itself is motivation for the doers to rise up to the challenge and get promoted. And though middle managers are often paid more than the executives, but if they're good, they can ensure low staff churn and essentially just pay for themselves. Middle management positions are also battle testing ground for future leaders. If you perform well, you will rise up to strategy ranks. But if they're so indispensable, why are they now considered so vulnerable? Somewhere down the line, companies got health conscious. Now they don't want a lot of dressing for taste. They just want a tad bit and a healthier option so the healthy greens can slide down the gullet easily. As for the bread, they don't want a thick white bread anymore. They want a lean, whole wheat grain bread. Historically, before tools like Slack and Zoom, communication was slow and middle managers were the central information routers. When COVID lockdown brought things to a halt, their utility and contribution was brought to attention. So a lot of them had to evolve into more collaborative roles, coordinating with teams across time zones and remote setups. Many assumed they were insulated from AI because they were not directly involved in technical work, thinking, I don't write code, I manage people. And it is true to some extent. Managing people is a job, and one not many are skilled at. But the reality is, many middle managers have settled into low-value roles such as passing emails, booking meetings, and forwarding tasks. AI can now perform all of these essential yet low-skill tasks way more efficiently. So why should the companies not view the middle managers as expensive, inefficient, and unhealthy? Because sometimes people are also promoted to middle management only because they wanted to reward a good individual contributor who might have been leaving. But maybe they were not suited for management positions. Maybe they were good as salesmen. This is called the Peters principle, by the way. You are promoted to your highest level of incompetence, which means you will be promoted till you find yourself at a position that you cannot be good at, and there you get stuck. The other types of promotion happens according to the Dilbert's principle, where if you are very counterproductive for the team's outputs but are crucial in terms of team functioning info, then you're just made manager. Either ways, you're stuck in a role you're now not suited for. And the accelerating influence of AI is cutting through the space between hard skills and leadership, exposing inefficiencies in roles that once felt untouchable. Most significant portion of a middle manager's time is spent on administrative tasks, which is what AI actually excels at. Repetitive, data-heavy tasks that traditionally fell to middle managers. Things like project coordination, performance tracking, status reporting, and even aspects of decision making. Tools like Asana AI, Microsoft Copilot, and AI-powered reporting are eliminating the need for human managers in these areas and performing tasks without human error and faster and at a lower cost. It is a two-pronged attack driven by economic pressures. Companies face a fear of missing out on AI's potential and an imperative to implement it. At the same time, they need to cut costs, and the middle layer, which they now think is just extra fat, becomes their prime target. So if the corporate pyramid is flattening, what does the future hold for middle managers? The good news is that even for the companies, it's not about eliminating everyone, but evolving the definitions and responsibilities of the role. With AI taking up the more mundane and repetitive tasks, middle managers can now focus on strategic, high-level thinking. Capgemini's 2024 research on Gen AI management within organizations that are advanced in AI implementation, 57% of leaders and managers report that AI has already made their roles more strategic. So that is a good sign. McKinsey's research showed that 78% of leaders and managers predict that in the next 3 years, Gen AI will augment their problem-solving and decision-making capabilities. The managers who survive this shift will be those who move beyond traditional operational roles to become strategic thinkers and what experts call insight architects, capable of synthesizing AI-generated data into actionable business strategies. Because what is not changing is the need for their emotional intelligence. The factor that AI just cannot match is the human advantage. A 2024 study found that emotional intelligence had a more major positive correlation with employee performance than AI. AI cannot replicate human elements like coaching, morale boosting, and conflict resolution. These human touch skills are critical for nurturing teams and maintaining a supportive work environment. The emotional intelligence advantage is not going anywhere, and in fact, it is becoming more and more valuable. So train your management model to become more human. But to survive, middle managers would also need data literacy. According to a Salesforce report, 74% of workers said that lack of training was holding them back from effectively using AI. Successful middle managers will bridge this gap between the human and the AI. This will lead to the evolution of hybrid management models. MIT Sloan's latest research found that human AI teams perform better than humans working alone, but did not surpass AI systems operating on their own. The key insight: in some cases, it is beneficial to leave some tasks solely for humans and some tasks solely for AI. The successful middle managers will be those who know exactly when to lean on AI and when to trust their human judgment. Going back to Gartner's predictions, managers will play a critical role as catalysts for AI-driven change, with 54% of leaders believing that they will become crucial change agents. And organizations that don't invest in this transformation will be left behind. And managers that don't facilitate this transformation will be asked to leave. The great flattening is happening, like it or not. And if you're a middle manager, it won't be long before you are expected to manage more than 3, 6, 8, or even 15 people. Your future will depend on your ability to strategize, facilitate, empower with AI, and most importantly, being human. My name is Loveena Kamath, and this was your Full Disclosure.